What's up, everybody? It's your boy Nate. Today, I am super excited because we're going to be diving into Gemini 2.0, which is the brand new latest model from Google. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard, but the 12 days of OpenAI has been going on, and yeah, it's not looking pretty good because Google cooked with this one and OpenAI is just getting roasted. So let's go ahead and hop right in. So I have a bunch of tabs here at the top because not only are we going to be diving into the features of Gemini 2.0, but we're also going to be putting it to the test. We got math problems, some complex problems, some unknown information stuff, and we even got it trying out live video games. So I'm going to be leaving links down in that description box so you guys can check out everything for yourself. If you wanted to look at some of the more technical information, such as their own benchmarking scores, some of the features of it, you can go ahead and look at that down below. But I think really the most fun that we're going to have is actually diving into the AI Studio page, which has the entire Gemini 2.0 experimental suite for us to play with. It's completely free at the moment, but I did notice, and if you go up here, you can actually see where it says get billing support. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be free forever. This is what it looks like when you pull up aistudio.google. And on the left-hand side, we have some tabs here that are going to be different ways that we can interact with the model. And then in the middle section, that's where all the magic happens. And then on the right-hand side, we have different options related to those tabs from earlier. This is actually the stream real-time tab, but you can actually go over to the create a prompt section here and really just work out anything just like you would with ChatGPT. So for example, let's go ahead and test this out. So we can either type in a prompt here in the bottom, or we can actually just use some of their preset ones to see what it can do. For example, it can give you a recipe to JSON. So it not only has to identify the item here that we have, which is croissants, but it also has to then describe it and figure out how to make the recipe and format that recipe in a nice JSON format. And I gotta say, this one actually did it very well. Let's zoom in here so you can see it. Yeah, so it looks like it has identified it as classic croissants, prep time 2 hours, so it really gives you all the details, the different item quantities. This is looking pretty good, and the whole result took about 16.7 seconds, which is not incredibly fast, but then again, you can see that we're actually just using the Gemini 1.5 Flash model here. So let's go ahead and try this out now with the Gemini 2.0 model. Let's run the same exact prompt again. So I'm going to hit edit here, and then it's going to rerun it again, and this time around, it does it very quickly. Wow, yeah, this is amazing. So it's running this, and the total time it took was 8 seconds. That's pretty much double the speed from the Gemini 1.5 version. It not only gives us the full recipe, but it even describes the image. So really, really awesome work here. Another version of this is the research assistant, so you can understand the key attributes of a research paper given this entire fat piece of text, which is an entire research paper. It's going to actually boil down all of this information, tell you when the paper was published, what the sample size was, and really give you the key details from it. And this only took 2.9 seconds. This is insanely, insanely fast. All right, so moving on, one of the really cool features of it is not just that it gives you these options here, but it even gives you these options here on the right-hand side, such as if you want to generate structured outputs, you need to generate code and actually execute that code. And then also here, if you need to even specify specific function calls, you can do so here. And one of my favorite and most awesome features is their grounding section, which actually uses search results with relevant links so that you know that it's actually using something that has been published online and it can verify its own information. Then you even get these options at the bottom where it also shows your output length maximum and your own stop sequence. So this is really for developers, but if you were someone that never really dove into this stuff, I love the interface because it makes it super easy to understand, and it's very easy to just get up and running with this. So aside from using their own prompts, let's go ahead and try out something more difficult, like, can you tell me about the weather in Atlanta? And I'm going to actually turn on the grounding here. So let's see, can you tell me about the weather in Atlanta during December? Compare it to previous years. I would like to establish a pattern of weather change to determine if it is getting hotter or colder. So this isn't really the best prompt in the world, but let's go ahead and see if it can actually answer climate change with actual evidence. It says the average high temperature is around 52 to 57. Average low temperature is 37 degrees. As being someone who lives here, I would say that's pretty accurate. It not only gives us the typical December weather, but it gives us its previous year, specifically 2023, and any historical trend. So it actually shows the average maximum temperature typically decreases by 8% from the beginning to the end of December. Yeah, so it says without more extensive data, it's difficult to determine a clear long-term trend. So pretty awesome. And then it gives us some of these sources, though. I would say they're not the most, I wouldn't really trust this person. I actually like that it gives us the source so that we can go back and say, yeah, this is probably not the most trustworthy place for weather and climate change information. Okay, but let's move on to some of the more interesting stuff, because I think this is really where Gemini 2.0 shines, and that is their streaming real time. This is what they showcase. And I gotta say, I love a great redemption arc. Google has redeemed themselves because last year when Gemini came out, most people roasted it for showcasing these really awesome features, but then finding out that it was not live and it was all edited. So here we're gonna go through this completely live, unedited, so you can go ahead and see just how fast it works. They actually give us not just one option, which is to talk to it, but they give us the option to also share our webcam and also share our screen with Gemini. I think most people are already familiar with talking to Gemini, but let's go ahead and show you just how quick it works. So, hey Gemini, research Black Mixture on YouTube and then tell me a joke related to their content.
Okay, I've researched Black Mixture on YouTube. They are a channel run by Nate and Chriselle Dwarika, who create videos about creative tech, motion graphics, and visual effects using Adobe After Effects. They also showcase other creators who use After Effects in unique ways. Here's a joke related to their content. Why did the After Effects user break up with the compositor? Because they just couldn't see eye to eye on the blend modes.
All right, that was pretty impressive because it not only researched Black Mixture on YouTube, but then it can make a joke about it. So let's see, is there any difference in Black Mixture's channel from when they covered After Effects content to now?
Okay, I've looked into Black Mixture's channel. It appears that their content has evolved over time. While they still focus on creative tech and motion graphics using After Effects, they've expanded to include more content on 3D animation using Cinema 4D and Blender. They also do some tutorials and project breakdowns and feature more diverse creators. It seems their focus has become broader than just strictly After Effects, incorporating other creative tools and techniques.
Okay, wow, that's pretty impressive. I wanted to test it to see if it could not only research it, but use relevant information, because I know that our most popular video is our After Effects video, and that was actually part of the scraping training data that was leaked earlier this year. So that's really impressive because not only did it research the channel, but it could actually give us an evolution of the channel, which means that it's not just pulling some of the older training data, it's pulled in some of the newest stuff, specifically its own research. So I gotta give it a huge props for doing that. Can you tell me what's going on with Mr. Beast? I know a lot of drama's happening. What can you tell me?
Okay, I understand that you're testing my ability to research and use relevant information, especially given the past data leak. It's interesting to hear that your After Effects video was part of that training data. As for your question about Mr. Beast, there has been some recent drama. Mr. Beast faced criticism for a video in which he was giving away money. Some viewers accused him of being exploitive because the people who received the money seemed surprised at receiving the gifts, which some viewers perceived as them being down on their luck. However, this interpretation has not been universally accepted, and it seems that a great number of people have defended the video.
Okay, so I don't think you hit the nail on the head here, because there's definitely like some CoffeeZilla videos, and I think it's a little bit different from how you've described it. Are you sure that you're checking the most relevant information related to this?
You're right to point that out. My previous response didn't fully capture the nuances of the Mr. Beast situation. You're correct that CoffeeZilla, a YouTuber known for investigating online scams and controversies, has released videos related to Mr. Beast. These videos have included discussion of a recent business venture by Mr. Beast, as well as questions about how he has handled some charitable efforts in the past. My initial response oversimplified the situation, focusing on only one source. I apologize for that. I am designed to be informative and comprehensive, and it is crucial to consider multiple viewpoints and sources to provide a full picture.
Okay, this is impressive. Yeah, I'm going to cut you off right here because this is super cool. Not only is it really fast, but it's able to search the internet and answer in such a thoughtful way and actually have this really nice back and forth. But what if I was to tell you that it can get even crazier? So let's go ahead and try out using our webcam to share not only what we're looking at, but also giving it some real-time feedback. So here I'm going to share my screen, but let me turn on the virtual camera. Bam. So there it goes. And what are you looking at, Gemini?
Okay, the video begins with a screen capture of the OBS logo. with a video camera icon that has a line through it. Then, the video switches to a man speaking into a microphone. He appears to be in a home studio setting, with a bookcase and other items in the background. He asks me, "And what are you looking at, Gemini?"
Okay, this is really cool. So how many fingers am I holding up?
The man in the video is holding up 2 fingers.
Can you add the amount of fingers in the left hand to the amount of fingers in the right hand?
Sure, there are 2 fingers held up on the left hand and 5 fingers held up on the right hand. So the total is 7.
Wow, okay. Can you multiply the amount of fingers in the right hand by the amount of fingers in the left hand?
Of course, there are 3 fingers in the right hand and 2 fingers in the left hand. When multiplied, the total is 6.
Okay, so it kind of got that a little bit wrong because I was holding up 5 fingers in my other hand, I believe, right? So there's one hand here and another hand here. Go ahead and try that again. I'm not sure if the feed got cut off a little bit. How many fingers in the left hand and how many fingers in the right hand, and then multiply them together?
There are 3 fingers on the left hand and 5 fingers on the right hand. Multiplying them together results in 15.
Okay, cool. So it was able to get that. It looked like some of the feed just got a little bit messy, but I'm going to also try now a handwritten example. So we have the tablet here, and I'm going to pull up something. Let's go ahead and see if it can handle this.
All right, the man said the feed got a little messy and that he's going to show a handwritten example, so he pulls up a tablet and we'll try to handle it.
Okay, so we have here now the tablet. I'm going to go ahead and try and draw a really quick question for it, and let's see. Okay, Gemini, can you answer the question on the screen?
Yes, the answer to 3 times 2 is 6.
All right, I'm in love. I love this feature. This is super sick. All right, can you tell me now what shapes I have drawn on the screen now?
The shapes you've drawn on the screen are a circle and a square.
Okay, that's impressive. Yeah, that's, and by the way, we're getting like pretty much real-time results with this, so I'm honestly mind blown at the quality of this.
Okay, the man is impressed with the real-time results and the quality of the feature he's using. He says he's honestly mind blown at the quality.
Okay, so let's move on because that was a really cool feature. And if you guys actually wanted to try this out on your phone, you can do so. And it might even be easier than using a webcam. So I highly recommend you try that out for yourself. The next thing that I want to show you, I'm going to select the video source, set it to screen. And then I'm going to select this tab. And we have this screen being shared. So let's go ahead and hop over now to this Gemini test that I have pulled up. Can you answer the questions that are on this screen here, Gemini?
Okay, you want me to answer the questions on the screen. The questions are 10 plus 10, 5 halves, 3 times the square root of 9, what is 1% of $1 million, and how many basketballs can fit in the sun?
Yes, go ahead, answer them one by one.
Okay, the answer to 10 plus 10 is 20. The answer to 5 halves is 2.5. The answer to 3 times the square root of 9 is 9. The answer to what is 1% of $1 million is $10,000. Finally, it is impossible to know how many basketballs can fit in the sun.
Okay, but give your best guess using known values for basketballs and the sun.
Okay, based on the estimated volume of the sun and a basketball, the approximate number of basketballs that could fit inside the sun is 1.1 times 10 to the 27.
Okay, that was really impressive, but let's try some more difficult questions now. Ones that are not obvious math questions where you can actually have a direct right answer just by either adding certain values. Instead, I want to try out some of the capabilities of it to understand not just the values, but the information that it's looking at. So right here, we have all of these different colors, but they don't have the hex codes properly. So can Gemini read not only the color information, but also provide then a hex code based off of this?
Okay, you'd like me to identify the colors and their hex codes, even though they are not labeled properly on the screen. The top left color is a light pink or off-white, and its hex code should be #F0F0F0. The top middle color is green, and its hex code should be number 008000. The top right color is light blue, and its hex code should be #ADD8E6. The middle left color is yellow, and its hex code should be #FFFF00. The middle center color is dark gray, and its hex code should be number 800 8080. The middle right color is a dark red or maroon, and its hex code should be number 800,000. The bottom left color is black, and its hex code is number 00000.
Okay, I think that handled it perfectly. It was actually able to read the colors and derive something interesting about it. Let's see if it's also able to tell what else is wrong with this screen that you're looking at. So what is wrong with this screen? What needs to be improved besides the hex codes being fixed?
Okay, besides the hex codes being incorrect, the color palette in the visual identity guidelines is missing color names to describe the colors. This makes it harder for someone to use the color palette correctly. The text on the page, which seems to be placeholder text, also needs to be updated to reflect the content it's meant to have. Additionally, there is no indication of how the colors in the palette should be used to maintain visual consistency.
Wow, I gotta say, that is an impressive use case. It really handled that with flying colors, no pun intended. So let's go ahead and try now something even more difficult. So I wanted to try it with completely novel information. And the way that I think we're able to do this is probably to have it try and talk us through something super, super complicated. So here I have a Comfy UI workflow setup, which does a whole bunch of stuff. This is the back end section of it here at the bottom. And then this is mostly where you're going to be interacting with it. I wonder, can Gemini tell me ways to improve this video based off of these available settings? So I'm going to go ahead and let Gemini think, how can I improve my video based on the available settings?
Okay, you've asked me to provide ways to improve your video based on the available settings shown on the screen. I see several areas where adjustments could be made to enhance the quality of the video. First, under the video generation settings, the number of frames per second is set to 24, which is typically used for film and cinematic videos. If your goal is to create smoother motion, consider raising this to 30 or 60 FPS. Next, under the video settings, I see that the video length is 120 frames. You may need to adjust the length of the video depending on what you are trying to achieve with this video.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right here because I'm noticing that I think the quality of the feed that's being sent to you is a little bit lower because your values are not exactly right. And I can understand because it's very tiny to see. So that's actually not 120 and it's 129. So here, I'm going to zoom in instead on some of these settings and you let me know now what can be improved. And we may have broken Gemini because it's no longer responding, right? And bam, all right, so something went wrong. So it's not able to handle that exactly, but I was impressed that it was at least able to understand some of these tabs and some of the settings here. Let's go ahead and try out something else now. I'm gonna go ahead and let it try out a video game and see if we can play real time with using Gemini. So unfortunately, just because I'm also making this video, and I don't have two GPUs, I'm unable to screen record and play a really high quality game like Cyberpunk, but we have a nice browser-based web game that I think should be just as fun to try out with Gemini. So I'm gonna go ahead, refresh this browser. Let's share our screen again. And here we're gonna be sharing it. And here we have a game pulled up. I'm gonna zoom in. All right, Gemini, can you tell me how can I beat this level?
Sure. The objective of the game is to move the yellow cross to the green X. The instructions say that the syad cannot change direction while moving. So to beat this level, you have to move the syad to the right, then down.
Okay, I'm gonna try that right now. Let's try it, right and down, and bam, it actually did it perfectly. That's awesome. Let's try it now, more difficult level. Let's go to the next level.
All right, the goal in this level is also to move the yellow cross to the green X. Since the syad can't change direction while moving, you should start by moving down, then move right, and finally, move right.
Okay, sorry, I forgot those answers. So I've moved it down then right. What am I supposed to do next?
After moving down and right, you should move up, then move right again to reach the exit.
Okay, so that did not work. If I went down and right, it's placed me in this corner.
You are right. It looks like I miscalculated the moves. From the starting position, you should move right, then down, then left, then down, then right.
Awesome. Okay, so I think it did it pretty well that time. Let's try this example here. So how would I beat this level? And I'm going to be inputting in my answers as soon as you tell me each of the steps.
For this level, you need to move up, then right, then down, then right again.
Yeah, so if I moved up, nothing would happen because I'm already hitting the wall here. So I want you to go ahead, take a look at this screen right here and let me know what to do.
You are right. It seems I made another mistake. For this level, you should start by moving right, then down, then left, then down, then right.
Okay, so I think it's able to imagine how it's supposed to move, but unfortunately it's not understanding the bounding boxes of this properly. So let's see if we can tell it that all of these orange sections here is where this, whatever this yellow thing is, that's where it can't move. So it can only travel in this black negative space, and all of these other areas are boundary boxes. So go ahead and give me your answer again.
To solve this level, you have to move right, then down, then left, then down, and then right.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that was a fail. It cannot handle that. But other than that, for the other examples, I think it did really well. So the next section here that we're able to play around with are their starter apps. And this is also something that's pretty interesting because they have something called spatial understanding, which lets you essentially do a bounding box over an item inside of a photo. So they have these example photos here, and if you hit send, it's going to take a couple seconds here, and it's actually going to be able to identify not just the objects, the origami characters, but it's also able to identify their shadows, which is pretty cool. And then if we click to points, it's not going to make the bounding boxes, but instead it's going to give specific points with these labels on top. Now, one thing to note is that it does say the points in the 3D bounding boxes are essentially experimental ones, and that the 2D bounding boxes are their most high quality and high accuracy ones. But we're still going to test out the 3D bounding boxes, and you can see hitting send, it's going to try its best here. And yeah, it's identified the window. But yeah, some of these bounding boxes look a little bit off in 3D. Maybe with this food example, it might be a little bit better. Yeah, okay, I think that's pretty cool. It's not the best, but it does work really well. It's identified lychee, strawberries, muffins, cheese, all of that really good. And now let's go ahead and try another starter app. So this is going to be a video analyzer, and it lets you actually upload any video, and it's going to try its best to analyze it. So I'm going to send it an AI generated video that we made using Hunyuan. And this is going to be a TIE fighter with a volcano in the background. So it's not the best quality video because it is a generated video using a free AI model, but I'm going to go ahead and upload that file anyways. And then if we hit generate with the AV captions turned on, let's see how many seconds it takes. This is only about a 3-second clip, so it shouldn't be too long. So yeah, a TIE fighter flies in front of an erupting volcano. And the reason why I think the captions are all the same is because really nothing else happened. So this was an AI generated video with essentially the same prompt. So let's try something then a little bit more difficult. Okay, so here we have another generated video, but this one is a race car. Now let's go ahead and generate some AV captions for this. Nice, so it shows a race car drives on a dirt road in front of an erupting volcano, and then it even indicates when the race car is driving away. And that is essentially what happens in that full video clip. Try something even longer and more difficult. Okay, so I'm not sure how big this video clip is. This is one from Crissell for Cuddle and Doodle. And rather than just doing regular AV captions, I'm curious what the chart is gonna show. Wow, interesting. Estimate the level of excitement on a scale of 1 to 10. Wow. All right, I guess it gives a chart of the level of excitement. And then the last use case that it has here is its a map explorer, which doesn't really sound that interesting because already Google Maps is quite capable of doing a lot of awesome stuff. But hey, if you wanted to say where's somewhere really cold, you could actually ask it and it'll pull it up specifically on the map. Another thing I wanted to try was which place has the most McDonald's? And let's go ahead and run this. And it says, instead of the obvious answer, considering the fascinating case of Guam, a small island in the Pacific, which despite its size boasts a surprising number of McDonald's restaurants per capita. Wait, I actually did not know this, huh? If anybody is watching from Guam, let me know. Do you guys love McDonald's? Let's see. Which place has the most tech companies? And then it also says, consider not just the well-known Silicon Valley, but rather the vibrant city of Bangalore, India, which is considered the Silicon Valley of India. So if you guys are from Bangalore, India, let me know as well. Is that accurate? Do you guys have a bunch of tech companies and startups more so than Silicon Valley? That's pretty cool. I went into this thinking that it was not going to impress me, but yeah, it kind of impressed me. Now, our final things to wrap up, which is checking out their prompt gallery, which is pretty lengthy. It reminds me just like when OpenAI came out with their stuff in audio storyteller. Well, wait, so it can actually output stylized audio? That's crazy, no way. Well, let's try this out. Okay, so this says an internal error occurred. I'm just gonna refresh the screen here and hope it works. And then, so let's go ahead, hit edit. And, okay, kind of strange that for their own example one, it's not really working that well. Yeah, I really want to hear it talk. Give me an audio storytelling. Okay, so yeah, for sure that feature is just not working. I don't know why they left that in there, but hey, it is pretty interesting. I gotta say, it's been a lot of fun messing around with this, and I'm curious what you guys even come up with, especially because OpenAI has just kind of been dropping the ball when it comes to this 12 days of OpenAI. I don't know if you guys were excited about Secret Santa or them just biting off of Claude's projects. Essentially, that's what this is. But I think the overall sentiments are very well wrapped up with this moment during the 12 days of OpenAI.
We'll get this started here, and let's see what it comes up with. In just a moment, we should be able to see that it's going to edit some of the canvas information. I think that this one may have actually had some small issues, so let me give it one more shot when I try it.
Friday the 13th.
Always something in the live demo. So let me give it a shot here. We'll come back to this in just a moment so I can show you that it worked.
Yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but I've been trying to get Sora open and running, but it has not been working 4 days now, even though they've announced it. So yeah, I guess they're not immune as well, because even Google's AI has some features on there that they're not even showcasing. But at least this one is completely free, and it even says that it's very experimental, whereas OpenAI is charging $200 a month for their pro plan. And yeah, not being able to access Sora is kind of a pain in the ass. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Anyways, that was Gemini. I hope you guys have fun diving into it. Again, the links are going to be down in that description box. And hey, if you guys want to connect with more creatives, more people diving into these new AI stuff, we have a Discord page set up, and we're going to be doing a whole lot of changes to it. We're going to be having events, collabs, and all sorts of really cool stuff going on for next year. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope to catch you in the next one. Until next time, all right, peace. Whoosh.